Hi there. In the previous video, we created this beautiful indicator, which as you can see is returning pretty nice profits. The code for this is fully openly available. You can find it in the Discord server. You can also smack it on the chart and start using it right now if you want to, even though I do not really recommend that yet. Now in this video, we are going to be expanding this strategy slash indicator that we created, and we are going to try to add basic machine learning to it. We're going to do this all without coding a thing ourselves. We are going to utilize ChatGPT to actually help us implement everything. And if we do see problems, I'm going to show you exactly how I would tackle them, and I'm going to tackle them live and give you explanations so that you in the future can actually create your own indicators, your own strategies. All right, so first things first, I asked ChatGPT to explain us what the limitations are for machine learning in PineScript. And for those of you who do not really understand what machine learning is basically going to be giving a computer the task to go through thousands simulations and iterations of solving a problem and reaching an end result until it can. Essentially, it means you feed a computer 50 pictures, for example, of a banana, and the output should be, if I give you a random picture, when there is a banana in there, I need you to identify it. So that means it's going to be very good at pattern recognition. And what do we do in trading? We all trade patterns, one way or another. All these patterns are basically mathematical equations, and machine learning is going to be able to use these, learn from them, and then do your backtesting for you, your data collection for you, your optimizations for you, and so on and so forth. So machine learning is one of the most powerful things in the industry, in my opinion, in the trading industry, and it is quickly growing. Hedge funds like Medallion are definitely using these, and if you don't know, Medallion was a hedge fund created by Jim Simons, and it's basically the most successful hedge fund that the world has ever seen. It was the closest thing to a literal money printer, so it was pretty damn insane. So now we need to understand why there are limitations in PineScript of applying machine learning. And those limitations are a lack of external libraries, limited computational power, absence of persistent storage. However, you can still implement simplified machine learning concepts and optimization techniques to enhance your indicators. Below are the most advanced techniques possible in PineScript, and I'm going to plot those on the screen and explain those to you. So here we go. On screen right here are the 5 best techniques that you can use in PineScript to get something as close to a powerful, simplified machine learning model that you basically can. And excuse me if I do not pronounce it completely right. I'm going to quickly cover them, explain what they are, and then we're going to try and implement that together on this specific indicator here. So first we have the Bayesian probability approximation, which is basically going to adjust the trading decisions based on the probability of success by consistently updating confidence levels of signals based on past performance, which means that it will see, did this signal win? It will collect data on that win. Did the signal lose? It will collect data on that loss. And based on the wins and losses of certain signals, it is going to apply confidence levels. And then we can basically set things like a confidence threshold, where we say if you are like 70% sure that this is going to work, we're going to use it. But if you're only like 30% sure, then we're definitely not going to use it. The second thing we can use is a simulated genetic optimization, which is going to look at each and every signal and is going to gradually select the best performing. So let's say you have 10 moving averages on screen, the 5, the 6, the 12, the 30, the 50, it doesn't really matter. It is going to look, okay, signals created by, let's say, the 50, how accurate are they? If they are not accurate, we are going to give less weight to that performing signal. As an example, let's say the 50 EMA has generated 100 signals and 50 of those signals were bad. Then we are going to rate that 50 out of 100. And let's now say that the 200 EMA has generated 100 signals and 90 of them were accurate. We're going to rate it 90 out of 100. So if then the 200 EMA is not agreeing with the 50 EMA, we are going to use the confidence of the 200 EMA to ensure that we get the most accurate possible signal. Then we also have reinforcement learning approximation, which is going to modify your strategy rules dynamically, increasing the trade aggressiveness in favorable conditions and reduces exposure when signals underperform, which is basically going to replace what we implemented here. So at the end, we created a DMI trend filter. With that sort of system, it will automatically recognize conditions where it is not favorable to trade. If it sees that you have a 50% win rate and all of a sudden you start losing 5 trades in a row, it is going to identify that specific period as a non-favorable condition to trade in, and it is going to not trade. So it could, for example, say, I'm not trading the Asian session because the signals that I get created are not performing well here. Then the fourth one is going to be the Monte Carlo simulations, which runs multiple randomized prime paths simulations based on historic volatility to estimate the probability of a different future outcome and improve risk management, which means that it is going to basically run simulated pieces of price action, so stuff that is not actually on the chart but could potentially be correlated data or something like that, and is going to try to optimize itself based on that and use that as an extra layer of confidence on the current chart. And then the last thing that we can do is going to be adaptive parameter tuning based on historical success, which is going to be very similar to the probability approximations, but it is going to, instead of pick different signals, it is going to adjust these signals. Here it gives a very good example, the RSI threshold. We are using an RSI. So let's say we use a period of 14 and we have a weight of 3. It could then say, what if we use a threshold of 24 and 3? And perhaps that generates better results. So it's going to tune that based on historical success and adapt them automatically. This could mean that you could plot it on the chart on EU, on GU, on gold, on the Dow. It doesn't really matter. It is going to adjust itself based on what has shown very high and good potential. And I think if we implement all 5 of these, we have something that is very close to a simple machine learning model that is going to basically tackle everything. So we're going to start implementing that, and we're going to see how far we can get in this video of adjusting this. So again, the point where we're going to start is going to be the point right here, which will be the code that is publicly available in Discord. We can also smack this on the chart. Once again, all you need to do is join our free Discord server. You will find a little forum/section where you can find all public indicators, and this one is going to show up on top. Just copy the code, paste it in here, and we can get going. So for those of you who do not know, for you, TradingView will likely look something like this. You're going to simply click the Pine editor and it will pop open something like this probably. And you just drag it open so you get more, or you can even get the window out there and just paste in all of that code. You can then click add to chart. It will pop on right here and you will be able to see the results in the strategy tester instantly. And again, this is some very good results from the get-go without any machine learning at all. We managed to get a 70% return, 40% profitability, profit factor of 1.6, a max drawdown of 16.5, and all of that in less than 20 trading days. So that's pretty damn decent if you ask me. Alright, so the text you can see right here on screen, and I will leave this in Discord as well, so you can simply copy and paste that and regenerate the same prompt. What I basically did is I said, ChatGPT, I want to implement the 5 of these simplified ways of reaching basic machine learning in PineScript. I pasted all of the indicator code right in there and then said, let's implement these one at a time. So I asked it to start with number 1, and ChatGPT already responded with some code. Here is the screenshot of the response. As you can see, I'm not really going to bother reading all of it. If you are interested in that, you can go ahead and do so. I am more interested in the actual result. So as you can see, some code changes were made right here. It added a minimum confidence level, which is 0.55, basically means 55%. If it's over 55% confident, it's going to take trades. Here is the setup for that confidence level, which is all explained in the prompt that you will likely also see. So make sure to read that if you're interested in that. And then we simply adjusted our entries based on the confidence levels. And now we're going to basically have to see, does this work or does it not work? So we're going to hit update on chart. And now we reach an issue that a lot of you guys were actually talking about. You were saying, if I add the code to my chart and I go to the strategy tester, I do not see any results. This can be a number of things, but most likely it is going to have to do with the inputs that you set on your indicator. So let's, for example, start with adjusting our RSI and make it 50-50. Do we see anything? No. So we just restore that to default. And then we're probably going to be thinking, what do we add next? We added the Bayesian confidence levels. We need 55. Let's just do 0.5 and let's see. And now, as we can see, we are generating trades again. And let us adjust this and see if we say our threshold is 0, is it going to do anything else? It isn't. Which likely means that the way we've implemented this does not really work. Let's say 0.51, and now there are no trades anymore, which means that the system is never actually more than 50% confident. So as you can see right now, with the optimized version, we have a 60% profitability, we have a 87% return, and we have a max drawdown of around 10%, which is very, very good on 20 trading days. So based on the fact that we never really get a confidence level over 50%, I told ChatGPT the following. It seems like we never get a confidence level of over 50%. So we never take any trades. We only took 23 trades with the basic system. So perhaps we don't have enough data to build confidence. GPT responded with a response that I don't think is going to be too useful, but something that we are going to adjust is the alpha and the beta float. So it is saying to adjust the alpha to be 2. And now it is actually executing trades, and it is a little bit more profitable, I think. Let us quickly see what the confidence levels are now set to. 0.55. So what if we enhance them to like 0.6? Still the same amount of trades. 0.8, no trades. So after playing around with the stats for a little bit and not looking at the code at all, only adjusting what GPT told us to, I came to the conclusion that the confidence level is just always higher, and that we still execute 23 trades. If we use the Bayesian or don't use the Bayesian, it doesn't really make a difference, which means that right now as is, it is not working. So I basically prompted this to GPT with a lot of typos in it, and let's see what it spits out. So I'm just going to copy and paste the script again, hit update. I implemented these new changes. I say this doesn't work either. We are never over 50% confident, still 23 trades when I set it to 50%. And as soon as I set it to 51%, no trades are executed at all. Alrighty, so after a few iterations with ChatGPT, we managed to actually get it working. The only thing I really did was continuously tell it that the threshold was not working. If I set it to anything above 50%, nothing would really change. We would not get any trades, so nothing would be executed. And the final version that it gave me was this one, and I got an error. And this is something that I've heard a lot of you guys say, and this is something that ChatGPT just does. It is going to do indentations or enters behind commas, which it doesn't really like. PineScript doesn't like this, and it's going to give you these errors. So all you really need to do is look where there are commas or enters, and then the same behind pluses or anything else. And just make sure that you do this until the final bracket closes, this one, and it will highlight the close and the start. And as you can see, everything is now nicely and on one line. And if we hit save, it is now going to compile without an issue. So let's take a look right here. I kind of played around with the equity as well, or GPT did. So now we have to put it in here, which amount of equity we use. So right now we are using leverage, of course. We are not using 100% of our account on GU, but we're using way more. And that gives us the statistics. This is something that you can for sure fine tune. So the stats without our confidence levels are going to be 32 trades, a net profit of 55%, and a drawdown of around 13%. So let us adjust this to 0.55. Here we go. And now, as you can see, we only executed 31 trades. We have a 46% net profit, and our max drawdown is still around that 13% mark. We can continue to fiddle around with this. With a 60% confidence level threshold, we are going to see we only took 29 trades. We have an 84% win rate, profit factor of 2, and a 13% drawdown. And we can basically keep going, playing with this, and the system will adjust itself accordingly. And if we go to like push the limits and we're going to look for the minimum Bayesian confidence level we need for an entry, we're going to see that it caps at 71%, which means it's never more than 71% sure of any given trade, which could be due to the fact of the data and whatnot. But what I find is that executing trades, as soon as it is 55% sure that it's likely going to work the best, you're going to limit your drawdown, you're going to eliminate false signals. And so this is good for the Bayesian stat. This is an extra layer of confluence. And in this case, we are going to be on our small data set, of course, eliminating one trade. But you can fiddle around with this based on the asset that you're trading. 60% also seems good. We have a lot less drawdown. We never actually go in the red, which is also pretty nice. And the overall max drawdown, which is likely not going to be from the Bayesian, but just a combination of these signals in, let's say, a consolidation zone, which you can, of course, fiddle around with here as well with the other stats and get all of this to an optimal level. So after some fiddling around, this was the best result that I could get. And this is also what I will be uploading as our Bayesian confluence. In the Discord, we managed to get a 65.85% net profit over the course of 23 trades, with a max drawdown of 10%, profit factor of 3.2, and 60.8% of our trades were actually profitable trades. So these stats are quite nice. And now I think it's time for us to actually add another one of our simplified machine learning tools to our system. So all I did was ask ChatGPT, let's add the simulated genetic optimization with the explanation and then now behind it, which basically says, let's add this now. That's the prompt that I gave it, and let us see what it spits out. Alrighty, so now ChatGPT actually helped us out with adding the genetic optimization, which seems to be very effective with our particular strategy, very much more effective than the Bayesian system actually was. And the only thing we really changed for it, and we can elaborate this way more and get even better results, because let's first actually go over these results. So the results right here, they show us that we have around 70% of profit in 17 closed trades. We are 64.71% profitable. We have a profit factor of 4.14, which is the best results we've had so far, with only a max drawdown of close to 10%. So not even 10%, meaning that this could basically pass, what is it, like 7 prop firm challenges. And the way this works is very, very interesting. And we can easily visualize that on the chart right here. So let's take a look. What we see on screen right here are 3 EMAs. And the settings of these EMAs, we are going to be using the 50 EMA, the 100 EMA, and the 200 EMA. And our system is constantly going to evaluate these EMAs. And as you can see right here, the system was calculating the accuracy of the EMAs, and it hopped to, I believe, this is going to be the 50 EMA, and started to try and execute trades on it. Then it noticed that the 50 EMA was actually not performing well in predicting, and it moved it back all the way down here to probably the 200 EMA. And then based on switching to the 200 EMA, 2 candles after that, it decided to execute along, meaning that RSI, DMI, and the candidate EMA was basically in range. We executed a trade, won that trade. So now we're saying, okay, the 200 seems to be performing well. So it stuck with the 200 EMA for quite some time. Then here you can see it popped back up to that 50 EMA. And then a little later it noticed, okay, no, the 200 is still better. So pop back to that 200, executed, exited. And then it started noticing that it was failing again, popped back down to what I believe is the 50, stayed on the 50 for quite some time till it noticed, okay, it is not giving good signals. We're going to pop back to that 200, which means it's definitely going to adjust itself to consolidating price action and whatnot. And you can see it switched quite a few times. Here it switched to the 100 EMA, executed a trade, won that trade, stayed on that 100 EMA for quite some time, kept on executing on that 100 EMA still. And as you can see right here, it switched from the 100 to the 50. Notice that the 50 was not working that well, probably because of this massive push and the fact that it's also a delayed indicator. The exponential moving average is always going to be printing after the fact. We short off of the 200 EMA again. Very good. And we stay with that up until the end. We can see that we are taking quite a few profitable trades. This one was not profitable, unfortunately, but as you can see, we did have quite a bit of momentum to the downside. Now, of course, we can add as many candidates as we want. This is just a visualization of what is possible, and we can play around with these values. So let's say instead of using the 50, we can use the 10, the 50, and the 150 exponential moving average. Change that up. And now, as you can see, the results are drastically different. So instead of that massive, almost 70% gain, we can clearly see that it is now only doing 16, which seems to mean that the higher these values are, the better. So let us try 100, 200, and even 400. And what we can see now is that we did even more. We did 75% of profit. We have 9% of max drawdown. We can fiddle around with this. 1, 2, and 3. And here we have now 60%. So you can definitely play around with this. You can even implement the system that is going to do it from, let's say, EMA length 1 all the way up to 1,000 and then investigate the most optimal values itself. This is just demonstrating how exactly this machine learning works. But as you can see, by simply adjusting the EMAs and allowing it to swap in between them in different conditions, you are definitely setting yourself up for success. And I just fiddled around with it a little bit more. And as we can see, we almost managed to double our account size while not going below 10%. 60% profitability, 25 closed trades in total, 3.5 profit factor. And we used these settings right here. So you can take a screenshot, copy these, whatever you want. You will also find all of this code in Discord, of course. We used the 200, 400, and 500 EMA here. And of course, this was all designed for GU, so those values will work very well on GU apparently, but they might not work on a different pair. Let's check out, for example, gold. And as we can see on gold, it is definitely facing quite a bit of drawdown here. So it's not going to work optimal on that. We still managed to make a profit, but the drawdown was pretty excessive, which could mean that, for example, on gold, we use smaller EMA values. So I just edited that a little bit. I just used the 10, 20, and 50 because I know that gold is quite a bit more volatile. And as you can see now, the results are already drastically changing. So it's swapping in between those lower values, and you will see that the net profit also changes for the better. If we now go back to GU, which is less volatile, we will see that it is now a losing system. So if we increase those once again, you will then see consistent results again. And all of this can again be automated. So again, I will make this code fully available on Discord for both the Bayesian optimization system, so Bayesian machine learning, simplified, whatever you want to call it, as well as the genetic optimization. I will leave the code for that in Discord. It will be in 2 separate tabs. I will also make this indicator available on TradingView, so you can play around with that. All you need to do to get that is join the Discord, go to those channels, go to the little indicator forum that we have on there, and then you can just grab the code, adjust it, use the snippets to actually implement the genetic optimization or the Bayesian optimization on your indicator. On the chart, just copy the relevant snippets or ask ChatGPT to implement it this way. So you can actually get this going yourself. This video was just to show you that you can indeed implement basic machine learning in TradingView, but it is going to be much more lucrative when you use more advanced models, which you can do in Python and other platforms. And all of that is something that we will likely be covering in one of the next videos. So if you're excited about that, make sure to leave a comment, make sure to subscribe so you definitely get notified when these videos come out, and make sure to join the Discord. I wish you guys a very pleasant rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.